Hello and welcome back to another episode of my MotoGP 22 career mode, and today we are here for the 10th and 11th rounds of our Moto2 season at Sachsenring and Assen. Now, if you haven't seen the last episode, I do recommend you go check that one out before you do see this one, so that nothing is spoiled for you. But we had a pretty good episode overall. In Mugello, I thought it was going to be terrible. Wet or dry, I thought I was going to struggle. I actually have more pace in the dry than I expected there. But then, of course, it did rain. But we've got the epic start, probably the best start I've ever seen. We went from, like, I think it was 18th place to 1st before the first corner. That's how good of a start we got, because AI just didn't go off the line, basically. And then we managed to salvage a pretty decent result at the end of it. Managed to just hold on to a good position, managed to get some good points there, and then in Catalonia, dominated likes the flag, so a really good episode overall in the last one. However, I do actually believe we're going to struggle a little bit in this one, because Sachsenring is a track where the AI are pretty good. I'm not very good. Basically, their edge grip advantage is huge at the circuit because you're on the side of the tyre for so long, so the fact that they have some sort of traction control built in really does help them. They are going to have a huge advantage, and if it rains, it's literally game over, because on the side of the tyre in the rain is absolutely horrible. But of course, we will advance forward first to the German Grand Prix at Sachsenring. We've actually got a notification on the headquarters, so the frame upgrade is now complete, and I assume, actually no, we can't put on the next one. I was just assuming that we would be able to do that, but we'll put them all back on the data production then, so we can get some more for that. But that's everything we've got to do before this race then. So I'll head into the weekend. I'm not really looking forward to it too much because it's not a track I like, but we'll see. Maybe we could get a good result here. So to my surprise, we're actually really fast here. We've got some good pace. We've got half a second in the whole field, which is a lot at Sachsenring because it's such a short circuit. You can see the field is super close, and that usually is my downfall here. If I can just lose a bit of time, I usually drop off it. You can see there's only 2.2 separating the whole field, so it is super close here at Sachsenring, as you'd expect, with it only being 1 minute 20 lap time. But I've just felt right in the groove straight away. I sort of struggled on the first lap on my out lap. Sam Lowe sort of, actually, interestingly enough, came out at the same time as me and sort of pulled away, and I thought, this is going to be a tough weekend. But I sort of caught him at the end of my my out lap and then passed him and then just pulled away from him. And it's just been like that the whole session. So, yeah, it just feels good. I feel like it's maybe not 100% consistent, but the 3 laps I did do, 122.6, 122.6 again, and then on 122.5 on my actual run, they were pretty good, but then there was a lap that was a bit rubbish off, and then I did a long lap penalty lap. So I think the pace is there consistently, but I'm not 100% sure. But either way, we should be straight through to qualifying 2 here, because it is FP3, and topping that session usually will be enough. So I'll see you in qualifying 2. Hopefully we can try and get pole position, and if we can do that, we've got a good chance of winning here. So it's worth noting that I'm not actually top overall, so the combined times in FP2, they must have gone slightly faster, some of the riders, like Vietti, Agora, Canet, Chantra and Fernandez. You can see in front of me, we've also got Acosta, Roberts, Trotter, Dixon. Well, Lowe's actually came through Q1, so there was such... Well, I mean, half a second was quite a lot. I was saying there was quite a lot, but they were so close that the guy that was actually second in FP3 actually didn't even get in the top, like, 18, or top 14, sorry. So that's pretty astonishing. So we actually got coming through Q1 then, Ben Schneider, Lowe's, Navarro, and Aldeguer. So some fast riders there. We've got a few fast riders in front of us, so it's actually probably not going to be as easy as I first expected. Now, in terms of tyres, I'm a little bit torn. I've tried the softs. Well, the softs have actually worked a lot better in this game on the whole than the last one, especially for qualifying. They've been pretty good. But I think at this track, you're just on the left-hand side for so long, the soft might just burn up completely. So I'll give the soft a go, but if it doesn't work, then I'll come back in and do a medium. I didn't actually mean to do a flying lap. I meant to actually come out of the box, but either way, we'll get straight onto the lap. My momentum should still be there from free practice, so I shouldn't have to build into it, hopefully. There's a bit of a glitch going on here. I noticed it in the intro sort of video where it shows you bits of the track. It seems like there's a big head or something sort of clipping through, and there it is again. That's pretty off-putting, actually. I'm not sure what that is. Seems like maybe like a mechanic's head or something in the pit lane. Is the scale of it's just like completely off for whatever reason. It's like large. It's like literally like there again. See clipping through. That's actually really off-putting. So I might have to leave this session and come back in and hope that that has resolved itself, because I don't think I can do a good lap with these conditions. So this time seems to have worked fine. There's no bug or anything like that, so I have no idea what that was. It was very weird. I've seen it a couple of times in the past on this game. I've seen it, I think, on the starting grid of a few races, but I've never actually seen it whilst I've been on track. I've only ever seen it in cutscenes, so rather bizarre, that one. So I'll have to watch out for that. Oh, that was a big mistake. Power mode 3. Honestly, I actually think it's not worth using, because that just cost me a lot of time there. Big wheelie. Just with the amount of power from that rear wheel, so that's this lap done already, I would have thought. Sort of towards the line then. What's this time going to be? 1 minute 21, 22, 23.2. Not terrible, but obviously not great. We did make that big mistake. The rear tyres need to hold up as well. I don't think it will hold up for 2 laps, and I've got off into the gravel, so this session not quite going to plan so far. I said I was in the groove, but made a couple of big profile mistakes there, although to be fair, one of them was just the Palmer 3 that caused that. I'll get out of our Cobra's way. So I think I might just do an off lap here, go down to Palmer 1, just because the tyre's actually still there. It's now cooled down again, so I'll do an off lap here and then give it another go with without the mistakes. So here we are then, ready to try again. The tyre is actually still a little bit overheated, so it probably will still be a bit rough. I think it'll be the next run before we do a decent lap now. So we did improve really slightly on that lap, only 3 tenths off the top times now. That's still 15th place, so that does, it's pretty good, because it means if we find a bit of time, we'll be right up there. But I'm going to go back to the pits, and I think I'm actually going to go for medium this time, because the soft sort of cost me at the end of the lap there. So then out on the mediums this time. There's a pretty good out lap, so I'm hoping that we're able to take this momentum onto the hot lap and try and get that pole position. Up towards the line, 3 tenths improvement. Where's that going to take us? 6th place on the grid, so still a bit more time that needs to be found. But we are getting there. Towards the line. Oh, it's not going to quite be an improvement, or is it? No, it's not. So I think that's pretty much my attempt at pole position over. Even though I need to find such a small amount of time, it's just so difficult to do at this circuit. So once again, of course, it's not enough, but there is actually still enough time for me to go for one more attempt. So one more attempt at this pole position. Here we come to the last corner. This has been one hell of a lap. You can see 3 tenths underneath up towards the line. This is going to be pole position, I would have thought. Yes, it is. By 2 tenths of a second, 22.3. So my fastest lap of the weekend by a couple of tenths of a second. And it's another Ital Trans 1-2 as well, because Joe Roberts was on pole, but now I've displaced him. I reckon that should last for the last 17 seconds of the session. So once again, another pole position, and at a track where I really thought it wasn't going to be possible. Roberts has actually been very good the last couple of races. He's had some good form throughout the season, but he dropped off a little bit. But the last couple of races, he's been pretty much on it again. At Catalonia, he was on the front row with me, and now here again, we are on the front row at Sachsenring. We've got Sam Lowe's in 3rd place as well, so 2 Brits on the front row, which makes everything even better. And in terms of championship rivals, I believe Iagora is really the only one that's somewhere close. And Marcel Schrott's actually not doing too bad in the championship as well. I think he's in he's either 3rd or 4th place, I do believe. So Schrott's right there. Agora is right there as well. But Chandra's definitely dropped off quite a lot down in 17th place. I remember he sort of dropped back in the championship after a bit of a poor outing at Catalonia. So then, plan for the race, just try and run my lines. Hope that I don't get rammed off like I did with Dennis Fodger in this last year in the Moto 3 class. And then of course I got rammed off by Ortola, which knocked me off the bike and cost me a chance at victory here. So if we could just try and keep it clean, we've got a good shot, because the AI, they do struggle to pass, and this is definitely a track where it's very, very difficult to pull a pass. It is going to be a bit of a tricky race though, because tyre wear is going to be super, super crucial. Now the main thing being the fact that you're on the left hand side of the tyre for so much of the lap, it just gets cooked. You're on the throttle for so much of the lap, trying to slide it through there, the rear tyre just gets absolutely cooked. And with it being such a short circuit, I think we're going to probably have about 8 laps here. I'm not 100% sure, but it's going to be quite a lot of laps. So the tyre choice is going to be absolutely crucial. Now, I think medium will work best for me, because I just don't trust the hard tyre in this game after that one time I used it and it went absolutely terribly. So I'm going to stick with medium. I've done pretty much all my laps on that tyre this weekend, and it's worked pretty well for me so far. So I'm just going to stick with what I know. Better that than changing to some other tyre for this race, and then it just going terribly and be like, oh, I wish I picked the medium. And then if it runs out, then I guess it is my own fault. So I'll quickly have a look at the fuel to see how many laps we've got. But actually, it doesn't tell me anything, does it? So I'm not actually sure how long the race is. I think it's probably going to be about 7 or 8 laps, though. So tyre wear's going to be crucial. Making mistakes, that's going to be super easy to do as well at this circuit, because it's so difficult. So don't make mistakes, try and look after the tyre, but also try and win the race. So this is going to be a tricky one.
Here at the Sachsenring, everything's ready for the on. The rider's focus at its highest. It's crucial not to drop positions off the start on this track.
It is crucial not to drop positions off the start. Now, I think we probably won't have much trouble with that, because the AI starts are usually terrible. So here we are then, lights are on, waiting for the lights to go out here at Sachsenring. Lights out and away we go. Once again, it has been a good start, of course, as you'd expect against the AI, because they just cannot start bikes to save their lives. As we go into turn 1, we are absolutely going to have the whole shot, although I broke a little bit too early, admittedly, because I kind of braked to my normal braking point, and obviously I was carrying a lot less speed. We've kept the lead anyway. Joe Roberts still in second place. There's been a crash behind Schrotter's now down. So Schrotter was a championship contender. He's definitely hurt himself a little bit there. But Joe Roberts immediately overtaking me. I just lost the front with a little bit of contact with Roberts there. So Roberts is through. Now Sam Lowes is through as well. So the AI attacking immediately. I'm attacking straight back up the inside of Sam Lowes. But the AI, they're showing they mean business. I got a track limits warning for that. I don't know if I went on the green. I probably did, but a little bit harsh, I would say. But either way, I guess it doesn't matter too much. Just got to be a little bit more careful. So it's another factor in the mix, of course, I hadn't really thought about. Track limits warnings. It is easy to pick them up here. There's a few corners where you can go on the green quite easily, and I guess that is one of them, although I hadn't really thought of that one all weekend. This is probably the easiest one, and then sort of the next couple of corners as well are quite easy to do as well. Also very easy to be caught out by the AI on the brakes here. As we look at the inside of Joe Roberts, we're just not close enough to make a move on this occasion, although he's a little bit wide on the exit. Can we do anything into the last corner? No, again, we're not going to be close enough, I don't believe. We are going to close up to him, but not enough to make the pass. Sam Lowes up to the inside of me as I try to take a sweeping line to get the run on Joe. Here we are in the slipstream. He's got way more power than me. A bit of power mode 3 will help us pull the pass off. I think we're within range to pass him into turn 1 here, because look how early they break. Up the inside of Joe Roberts we go. And we've retaken that lead once again. So as much as I said it was difficult to make passes, there's been about 5 so far. Well, 4 so far, because I've got passed by both of them. And then I re-overtook both of them. So that's 4 passes in total. Another crash behind. There's nobody from the top 8, so nothing to worry about particularly. And once again, Joe Roberts is looking at the inside through this corner. And once again, Joe Roberts takes the lead. And I bet Sam Lowes is going to come back up the inside again as well. Yes, he does, but straight back up the inside of Sam Lowes. This time, no track limits warning for myself. And I think we're a little bit closer to Joe Roberts as well. But this could be an absolute scrap. Oh, Sam Lowes again looking at the inside. That was going to be a bit risky from Sam. Good job he backed out of that one. But I think just differing lines at this track, especially in that first sector, I just take more sweeping lines, which is definitely faster, but the AI just ride up the inside of you, and there's not much you can do about it. Tell you what, Sam is actually looking pretty quick on the back of Roberts, so Sam trying to pass Joe Roberts, and we've actually got about half a second back to Agora, so us 3 are definitely pulling away. We're on fastest lap of the race pace as well at the moment. Well, I'm underneath my personal best anyway. But Sam Lowes definitely harrying Roberts. And there he goes. He passes Joe Roberts. I'm going to have to probably try and pass Joe Roberts here as well then. So in the slipstream of Joe Roberts with a power mode 3 from myself. Lowes has the fastest lap 22.8, so that's pretty quick considering it's a race. But look inside of Roberts, up the inside of Lowes. Passing the power limit into turn 1, because if I can just negate that advantage, I lose that disadvantage I have on the straight. I can easily pass them on the brakes because they don't have it. But Sam Lowes back up the inside once again. So it seems like Sam Lowes, he's up for the fight for this victory here. I reckon Joe Roberts is going to try and pass me again here. It's so frustrating. Oh, Joe Roberts up the inside of Lowes as well, but just not able to overtake there. So Joe definitely taking a tighter line deliberately to try and pull that pass off. But we are still pulling away from Iogora a little bit. Still half a second back to him. And even with this battling, I think we're quicker than I. So we're in the middle of the lap. I'm all over the back of Joe Roberts. Here we got the inside of him. That's an aggressive pass to pull on your teammate. But I just had the momentum. I didn't really have much choice. And then now we've had a bit of contact. He's hit me up the back. I've got to go on the green as well. So track limits warning. It's a bit of a messy sector in general. But unfortunately, I kind of was forced to make the pass on Joe because I just closed up to him so much. And then because I had to take a tighter line, it just completely compromised me through there. I was on the wrong line completely. And I ended up on the green because of it. Now Joe's got the better run through the last corner. Around the outside he goes. I have to use the power mode 3 to negate this a little bit. But unfortunately there then, Joe once again re-overtaking us. This has costed us so much time. So back at the inside of Joe Roberts. Bit of a stoppy, because I thought I was going to probably go a bit hot in there and hit Sam Lowes. But not quite. Back down to power mode 2. Just trying to use a bit of 3 on the straight there, because they just get so much better run on that straight. Just because they've got so much more power than the player. Joe Roberts once again fights back at the inside. And I know what you're all thinking. Why don't you just defend there? I honestly can't really tip in any tighter. I did try it on one lap, and they still pretty much could get underneath me anyway, so I may as well just try and take my line and just hope that he actually doesn't overtake me. But I think he's kind of given Sam Lowes this victory now by fighting me so hard. We've got the run on Joe Roberts once again, so another unorthodox place to pull a pass. And this time, it's not really held me up as much, so this time I'm going to try and go after Lowes again. So on the penultimate lap of the race now, so we definitely have got to try and make the pass as quick as possible. But all of a sudden, Iogora has now overtaken Joe Roberts, so I think maybe my move on Joe was a bit too aggressive, so I'm going to have to apologise to the team for that. Although Roberts is now back in front of Agora, but they're now 7 tenths behind, so me and Sam, we've got plenty of free room to have a bit of a battle on these last couple of laps. Seems like me and Sam are the ones with the pace, a little bit quicker than Roberts today. So here we are then. About to start the final, well, just starting the final lap of the race. Are we going to be close enough to pass Sam into turn 1? We are looking at the move. We're a little bit too far behind, but it's the last lap, so we're going to try and go for it anyway at the inside of Sam Lowes, but Bit of contact on the way in there. We've passed Lowe's. He gave us enough through. There's a little bit of touchy, but I reckon he'll be back up the inside through the Omega corner. In fact, he's trying to go even before that. Here he goes up the inside through Omega. He's on the curb. He's into the side of me. There's even more contact then there with Sam Lowe's because he's hit me. And this could allow Iagora to get back in the mix because he's only a few tenths of a second behind because he's been a bit quicker than Joe Roberts been able to pull away. But Joe Roberts, bless him, has dropped all the way to 8th place. So after fighting for the win, he's dropped back. So I think he's ran out of tyre. So I'm not going to blame myself for his demise in this race. But I think Sam Lowe's might have this one now, because it is tricky to pass from here. It definitely is. So we are through the penultimate turn, trying to get the run on Sam. We've got a bit of a run as we go towards the final turn. We're going to try again to get the sweep through the last corner on Sam Lowe's on the Parazillas. I can slide in the rear end, but Sam, I think, is just going to hang on. So Sam Lowe's wins the German Grand Prix. But what a race that was. So you can certainly see who the fastest riders in that race were. You can see Sam 22.8 fastest lap, 22.8 for me as well, 22.8 for Agora. So us three, a bit of a league of our own in terms of pace. Joe Roberts not even in the top 9 in the end. Where did Joe Roberts finish? Oh, don't tell me he fell off. He was 5.9 seconds behind. I tell you what, I reckon he probably did crash because Schrotter crashed. So unfortunate for Joe Roberts, they must have crashed somewhere on the last lap. I obviously didn't notice because I was battling with Sam Lowe, so I was focusing on him rather than the graphics. But so close. 0.087 of a second. I gave it my all there, and to be honest, second place to someone that's not even a championship contender, I'll take that, especially at Sachsenring. But who would have thought, Sachsenring, race of the season, what a battle that was with Joe Roberts and Sam Lowe's, passing each other in different places. I just thought I'd be able to get past Sam Lowe's on that last lap, but it just wasn't enough. He was so fast. I mean, he was pretty much on my pace. You can see both of us 22.8s in the race. In terms of race trim, that's about as quick as I could probably manage without making too many mistakes. Obviously, again, trying to avoid the green paint and stuff like that. So lots of things to do. Glad I went with the medium tyre because the medium tyre was absolutely fine. No problems with the tyres at all. So glad I didn't go with the hard there. But once again, gaining lots of points on the championship rivals. Schrotter fell off. Agora, obviously, I think he is the closest one currently in 3rd place. So another few points gained on him. So that's great for the championship. So looking at the championship standings then, actually Agora wasn't the closest one. It was actually still Chantra. I thought Chantra had dropped to 4th already, but he hadn't. He's still in 3rd place. So that was actually super crucial because Agora wasn't even the closest one. So we gained loads of points on Schrotter and Chantra. Agora does move up to 2nd, but we've now got a 78-point lead at this stage of the championship. And we're going into a race where, to be honest, I actually like my chances. I think at Assen, we've got a good pace probably there. I mean, obviously I haven't gone into free practice there, but in terms of any other races I've done at Assen, I've always felt pretty quick against the AI. So, you know, I think I was thinking this was going to be a tough one, but honestly, it was a great race. We actually beat all my championship rivals, extended our lead to 78 points. And it's now Agora to watch out for, but the Honda Team Asia guys, still right there. But unfortunately, Joe Roberts crashing, that is going to hurt us a lot in the championship. So looking at that team's championship then, you can see we've still got 70 points to the Idemitsu Honda Team Asia team, so nothing too bad there, to be honest. We've still got a pretty big lead. You can see we're on 261, they're on 191. Mark VDS to move up to 3rd place with that great performance from Sam Lowe's, and to be honest, he's been lost for most of the season. I've not seen him pretty much since, the last thing I remember him doing was crashing, trying to pass me at Austin, actually. That was the last time I remember him having a particularly good weekend. With that race complete then, let's head back to the career hub and see what we get for that one. Obviously not a win, but still a 2nd place, so we're still going to get some good reputation for that. So then, from that weekend, we gained 9,700 reputation points, which takes us up to 141,800 reputation. As for the credits, again, achieving all the objectives, so we get 13,290, which takes us up to 366,997 credits. We also had a good weekend on the development tests. You can see we actually passed all of them, except Tool of the Trade, which is 100 kilometres, and there was no way I was doing that at Sachsenring, let's be honest. And then Electronic Adjustment, which was me messing with the electronic settings and doing extra laps. And to be honest, I don't want to spend all my time in free practice, so I just did a few of them, and that's going to be plenty of research data, because you can see the bike is clearly competitive. But back in the main career hub then, we do have another technical staff notification. This time it is a data analyst, Ivan Pascal, and he's got some experience and level of competence, specialised in managing electronics of the bike. Well, I can see that because he's got no engine skill. He loses us some on the frame, gets a little bit on the aero, but a lot on the electronics. Again, just going to leave that for now. I'm not even sure I'm going to sign any, because I didn't sign any going into this season, and we're seeming to be absolutely fine, and it doesn't make a... Well, it probably does make a bit of a difference, but in terms of the R&D of the bike, we're actually getting on absolutely fine so far, so I see no reason to change, at least currently. With that dealt with then, we are going to head into the Dutch TT now. Should be a good weekend. Hopefully we'll have a good battle. I think we should be pretty much straight on the pace here. It's a track I really like, a track I go pretty well at, a track where last season in the career mode we won the race. Obviously, was a little bit controversial with the green on the last lap, but the game doesn't have that rule, so there's not really much you can do about it particularly. 90s in 2009, we went pretty well here as well. We were pretty fast, so I reckon, to be honest, Assen, we got a really good chance of winning this race. So we'll head into the weekend. Let's hope there's a good scrap. So then, at the end of the first free practice session here at Assen, I was top of the timesheets, almost 3/10 clear of Joe Roberts. So once again, Joe Roberts showing some good form in this season. Another good race from him would be fantastic for us in the Teams Championship. It's just got to make sure that he does stay on the bike this time. Tony Arbolino in 3rd place, and interestingly enough, Zonta van der Goorberg in 5th position. So pretty good for Zonta there at his home Grand Prix. I guess Marcel put some sort of favourite track stat on him, being Assen. I actually don't think it's a track he's done that many laps at in real life, but even still, 5th place, pretty good fit with the first free practice session, so we'll have to watch out for one of the home heroes. I don't know where Ben Schneider is in this session. He's down in 18th place, so he's a little bit less of a threat. But hopefully we should be straight through to Q2 with that time, because sometimes the AI do get randomly a lot faster in the other free practice sessions, although I believe that FP3 is wet, so I think it'll only be FP2 that they'll improve, so we should be absolutely fine. But either way, we'll head into Q2 now. Hopefully we're in that session, and hopefully we can fight for pole position. Well, I actually wasn't in Q2. You can see I'm actually quite far down in Q1, in fact. Same with Joe Roberts, so not quite the weekend I was expecting. I thought I'd come here and be really fast right off the bat, but it seems like that's not the case at all. It's kind of the opposite to the last weekend, and Zonta's also in this session, so it does seem like they went a lot faster for some reason. Although it is overcast conditions, so that means the soft's probably going to last a whole lap. So we'll head out onto the track. I do think I'm actually quicker than them when we're on track. It's probably just the simulated times that have put them ahead. So I reckon if we do a couple of good laps in this session, we should get through quite easily, and then we'll be back where we belong in Q2. So then, as I predicted, we got through that session pretty easily. 1.2 seconds clear of Joe Roberts in 2nd place, Tony Arbolino in 3rd. So the top 3 the same as the top 3 in FP1. So kind of tells you about the AI's times. A little bit buggy, I think, the AI are, because I was actually 2 seconds clear of the next fastest time at the time when I ended off the session. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. I don't know how my time compares to my FP1 time, but it couldn't have been that much faster. Probably a bit faster, but not a huge amount. So I think the AI simulated times are just kind of a bit broken. So I reckon we've got a good shot here in Q2. So let's head into Q2, and I think we've got a good shot pole position here. Now, in the past, the Q1 times have actually been pretty close to the Q2 times, so if they do similar lap times, this is going to be pretty easy for us, because that was 1 lap. I didn't actually do anything else, I just did literally 1 lap and just ended the session immediately, and that was the result. So, coming out the pits then, got our out lap. I think that's Jake Dixon just behind us, and I think Canet just in front of us as we come out of here. I think we should fairly easily be at the front. I assume pole position, but you can never be too sure. But I think, you know, top sort of 5, top couple of first rows, I think will be quite easy. It's worth noting that Chantra's actually up to 2nd, so it does seem like the simulated times are actually different to the on-track times, so it's almost like that's reset to the start of the season again now, because you can see Chantra is up in 2nd position, whereas he's kind of been nowhere the last few races. I remember on MotoGP 21 something similar used to happen with Zarco and MotoGP, like they patched, like at the start of the season, like they made him rapid because he was like in the championship, but then they patched him afterwards to make him slower. But when you simulated a race or if you simulated a session, Zarco would then win again. Like he would then be back to like his basically his release form. So like it's almost as if they don't change the simulated times. They just changed, or like who's the fastest they are in the simulations. They just changed them on track. So it's almost like when you skip a session, the old AI sort of go back to the top where they should be. But we'll see. We'll see how it pans out at the end of the session. See if Chantra stays there. If Chantra stays there, I'll take that all back. So we are then about to start our qualifying lap. We've got a decent marker up the road. Let's see how close we can get to him. So coming towards the line then, what's the time going to be? Agora 37.2. What's my time? 35.7. So similarly to the last session, they're just miles off the time. So even though they absolutely destroyed me apparently in like FP3 or FP2, they're nowhere near me in qualifying because we gained 1.2 seconds on Canet, and you can see that visually because I've closed up to him so much because he was the rider in front of me. You can see he's closed up to Ben Schneider quite a lot himself as well. But to be honest, I can't see him finding 1.2. I reckon that'll be more than enough. So then, at the end of the session, we've got a pretty mixed up grid here. So Chantra is actually 2nd place, so I do probably have to take back a little bit what I said. Chantra does seem to be a little bit stronger once again at this circuit. Canet is 3rd, so Canet, he had a really good run of form earlier on in the season. There was an episode or 2 where he was the best AI by far. We've not seen him since. He seems to be back, but then we've got Manu Gonzalez in 4th and Bo Benschneider in 5th with Barry Baltus in 6th place. I have no idea what's actually going on with this track. For some reason, the AI seem really sporadic, and the people that are up there seem random, because we saw Zonta up there in free practice as well, and some of the faster guys being in Q1. So the AI do seem pretty random. So with Chantra in second place, he's my main target for this race. Got to keep an eye on him. We've got Schrotter in 7th and Agora down in 14th place. Obviously, Agora is my main championship rival at the minute, but because he's absolutely nowhere, just keeping an eye on his teammate because Chantra is also in 3rd in the championship. So we'll head into the race now then. I think this could be quite an easy victory, judging by the pace. I still don't really know what happened in free practice, to be honest, why they were so much quicker all of a sudden, how they were so close, but we'll see. Perhaps with the race, medium tyres, it'll be a bit closer, but I guess we'll have to find out. So here we are then, down on the grid, looking at Aaron Canet in 3rd position on the grid. Zonta van der Gorberg ended up in 21st then, so not quite being able to capitalise on that form he showed in free practice. But Canet could be a bit of a danger man here. Like I said before, he did have a few races where he was probably the best AI out of the lot. He was pretty rapid, I think, back in Portimao and in Texas. I think we had a good battle in Texas. I think he actually bested me on that occasion. Of course, in Portimao, I don't believe he did. He crashed, but Navarro did manage to beat me. So we know the Pons boys are pretty quick. We know that the Idemitsu guys have been pretty quick all season. Manu Gonzalez in the mix as well, out of nowhere. It could be an interesting race. I've just got to keep everything clean, and then we'll just see how it pans out. But hopefully we have a good scrap, because Sachsenring, that was epic. So if we can have that again, that'll be a lot of fun.
There's something magical about racing at Assen. The crowd is ready, the riders are ready, we're ready, and in a few moments we'll see the start of the Dutch Grand Prix.
Ben Schneider may also be one to watch, because I remember on MotoGP 21 he'd have like weird races where he was really quick, so that could have transferred across. But wait for the lights to go out here then at Assen. Lights out and away we go off the line. Once again, it's been a pretty decent start compared to the AI, as always. You pretty much expect that at this point, because the AI just cannot get off the line whatsoever. But as we go into turn 1, I've missed my braking point a bit, so we're off the circuit. I think we're going to probably lose the lead. Somcat Chantra comes through. So Chantra takes the lead. Canet takes second, but we're back past Canet once again. So Chantra leading in the early stages here. I'm a little bit wide again, though. Is that going to allow Canet through? Not quite on this occasion. They have been pretty good out of Strubben all weekend, because when I've been following them through here, they've been definitely getting the jump on me out of here. So you can see Agora, not Agora, sorry, Chantra gets that little run. I'm just so used to saying Agora now that Agora is the main rival. But of course, Chantra is still there or thereabouts. I'm actually quite surprised to see him back at the front, because he dropped off quite a lot, and I thought it was just to do with the update. Oh, I'm down, I've crashed! I've crashed out of the Dutch GP! Oh dear, that is going to cost me a load of points, a load of time, a load of positions, and we're down to 31st place. That's going to be pretty much race over, but let's see, can we salvage anything? That's a big mistake to make, just pivoting on the front end, and the rear just completely came around, it threw me off the bike. So we'll have to see if anything can be salvaged from here, but that was a pretty big mistake to make, completely unforced as well. I was just trying to harry Somkiat Chantra, and I've really put myself in an awkward position now, because I'm 3 seconds off the back of the field. It's going to probably take me like the rest of the race to actually build this back up. Right, so we've caught this very back pack. Aldeguer is in front of us. It's interesting to see Aldeguer so far down the order, actually. His AI is not too good in this game. Then a Rodrigo in front of him with Kozara's the back of Firmin. Can we try and pass him? Oh, that's going to be aggressive. I thought I was going to crash again then. Firmin's trying to pass Rodrigo as well. What is he doing? He's just going so in the middle of the corner. Put the inside of Aldeguer now then. So we're not last all of a sudden. We've now passed Aldeguer. Next up's Gabby Rodrigo. Can we try and pass him as well before the end of this lap? We've got a good run. Off the throttle, back on the throttle. No, not going to be quite enough. So Rodrigo holds it for now. It's difficult to actually sort of get past them into the chicane. Then we might want to do it the inside of Rodrigo. Can we get Kenneth Kubo as well? I think we're going to. We've gone on the green a little bit. Actually, we've not. Now on the back of Sean Dillon Kelly. Here's a bit of power 3. I want to try and get him on the run down towards turn 1. I've just been fast up of the race, 36.7, which is quite far off what we did in qualifying. Sean Dillon Kelly turned in on me like I wasn't there. Fair enough, I suppose. That's a bit annoying. Can we try and find a way past him? He's holding me up a lot now. We're on lap 3 as well, so we can't really afford to mess about because it's only a 6-lap race. Put the inside of him into Strubben. That should be it. We should have done Sean Dillon Kelly there then. So next up is Alonso Lopez, obviously race winner in real life now. Ahead of him is Dalla Porta. You can see Sean Dillon Kelly is right there trying to make a pass. We'll be able to pass Lopez here. It's obviously the danger corner where we crashed on lap 1. Right at the inside of a Lopez. Can we get Dalla Porta into the next corner? We can indeed. We are being very aggressive with these passes, I do admit that. But we've got to make as many as we can. Can we get Antonelli into the bolts? Not quite. I thought about it. Although he's ran wide through the exit, so we've now got him. Can we get Saccone into the next turn? Oh, okay, that was a bit out of line, that one. and that's cost us a position to Antonelli as well, so it wasn't actually worth going for. Well, I've punted Ciccone out the way for the second time in the same corner, so I do apologise to Alessandro for that, but that wasn't worth going for, because that's cost me a lot of time. But now got inside Antonelli into the last corner. It was completely accidental. A bit of contact with him on the exit, because I kind of got it wrong, because I went in too hot. But we've now passed Antonelli, so we're up to 22nd place. So Salach is up next. You can see we've gained quite a lot on the leaders, actually, in the grand scheme of things, but unfortunately we're just not going to have enough laps. Here we got the inside of Salach. Can we get Ramirez as well? And straight to the side of Zonta. Sorry, Zonta. But I'll tell you what, that was 3 in 1, so I'll take that. We're up to 18th place. Corsi in front of us. I've not even seen Corsi all season, I don't think. Actually, I may have tagged on the back of him in qualifying, Mandalika, now that I think about it, but that's a very specific event. But I just seem to remember there being an MV Augusta. But I've not really seen this MV Augusta livery at all in the game so far, because you don't ever see them, because they're always at the back. Oh, the inside of Corsi, the inside of Red Ass as well. Whoa, that was completely accidental. I know, again, I'm getting super aggressive, but I just lost it on the way in there, past Corsi, and just braked, and tried to force it to fit, and unfortunately was able to pass a Renas there too. So points do look possible now, because we're on the penultimate lap, and I can see Navarro and Alcoba in front of me. Try and pass Navarro into the Strubben. Oh, I just absolutely punted Navarro out the way. Again, I know, I've been very, very dirty, I'm not going to lie. Most of these passes have been pretty much over the line, but I'm just trying to find my way through. I can see Agora in front of Alcoba, so I actually kind of forgot about the fact that Agora qualified so badly. We actually might have to beat him even with a crash, which would be pretty bad for him. It's unfortunate as well, because it does seem like the pack at the front are actually slowing down now. If I had a few more laps, I reckon I could actually still win this race, because the pack at the front do seem to be slowing down. Actually, that's not the battle for the lead. I think that's Gonzalez. Holding up everybody, it's been a crash. We're going around the outside of Alcoba, so now up into the points, because we're up to 14th place. Alcoba coming back up the inside. We've got Agora and Vietti, so two pretty high AI in front of us. We're going to try and go around the outside of Agora on the green a little bit, so it's going to be a track limits warning. And not even an overtake, just cost me time. Again, just trying inventive ways to pass, because they are so slow. It is a bit of a joke. Try and carry the speed through. I think it'll be Palmer's 3 for this final lap of the race then, because we've got enough left. I'm surprised that we saw a fastest lap, to be honest. We're going to turn 1. I thought about making a pass, but again, it's quite difficult to pass them through turn 1. Can we pass him on the exit? We've passed Agora. So right on the back of Vietti, can we pass him? Oh, again, pretty aggressive. On the back of Albany, now there's some battling going on in front, I can see. Bit of wheel spin there, as I try to get the power down. If we can make some positions, we'll be up into the top 10. And I can see the podium fight in front. Another couple of laps, we definitely could have been to the front of this pack, because we're so much quicker than everybody in it. Here we go, we've got the run on Arbolino. Can we do anything on the inside? We are, and we've just hit Lowe's as well. Sorry, Lowe's. Wow, that was, again, some of these moves have been over the line. We're up into the top 10. Cambobier just in front of us, then Jake Dixon, it looks like. It's been a crash behind. Arbolino's down. We're at the inside of Cambobier with it. Jake Dixon as well. We've passed Jake Dixon. We are just bashing all the AI out the way here. I'm fully aware of that. But can we recover? Barry Baltus has actually hung on to a decent position. We're right on the back of Pedro Acosta now. This could be crucial down towards the last chicane. So there we go then, down towards the last corner, the inside of Acosta, the inside of Roberts, at the inside of Barry Baltus as well. It's the 5th place through the last chicane. We've got on the green a little bit more towards the line. What place is it going to be? It's going to be 5th place in the Dutch TT with a crash. But I tell you what, that was something a bit crazy, to be honest, because of how Manu Gonzalez was holding up that whole pack. The AI couldn't do anything, so we're just cutting his way through. That last lap, though, was so ridiculous. I mean, we went from outside the top 10, I think, on the last lap to 5th. But, I mean, I was bashing every AI out the way to make those passes work. I mean, even at the last corner, I ended up going on the green. So, again, I think similar to last year, that's a bit controversial. And also, I don't like bashing the AI out the way, but I was just trying to go for all these moves. If I had a longer race, I'd have tried to make clean moves, but there wasn't enough time. I wanted to try and fight through the pack for you guys. I wanted to make it a bit of an interesting video. But if you look at the guys, actually, Chantra and Canet were 5 seconds clear of Manu Gonzalez. I think I would have had a bit of a battle on my hands with Chantra and Canet. Unfortunately, I couldn't have that. It didn't happen because I couldn't battle with them because I fell off. But even still, I think we had a pretty good race overall, albeit a bit of a dirty one, but, you know, sometimes you got to have these races, and you know what, it's better to have a bit of a fun race, isn't it, because it would have been a bit rubbish if I couldn't overtake any of them, because they're so close together, you can't really pass one without hitting another just because of how they are. I mean, I know some of my moves, especially the one the last corner, was a bit over the line, but, you know what, I just doing it for a bit of entertainment for you guys, so I hope you did enjoy it regardless. So that does change the championship very slightly. My lead now goes down to 67 points, so still a pretty healthy lead there. As Chantra now moves back up to second in the championship. Agora moves back down to third, since of course we still beat him and extended our lead over basically all the other riders here. I think the only one that beat us still was Chantra. So 67 points, that's still a pretty healthy margin, so going into the... Actually, it's not the summer break yet, is it? Because there's actually the Kimi ring that was supposed to be before the summer break that got cancelled in real life. So, yeah, we've got one more race before the summer break, but we're looking pretty good at the moment. As for the Teams Championship, of course, we lose more ground in the Teams Championship because of Chantra's really good performance, so 62 points in front of them now. Mark VDS stay in third place, but Flexbox HB40 actually overtake Red Bull KTM IO there for fourth place. So then, with that race done, that does bring this episode to a close. So I'll head back to the Career Hub now, see what we get for this one. We should be fine, because we actually met both objectives, because we've got pole position and then a top 5, so we actually met both of the objectives there. I do apologise for the bit of, well, I said the bits of contact. The entire race really was full of contact, but I was trying to charge my way through in a 6-lap race, so there was the moves were never going to be super clean. But I'll tell you what, most of them were alright. It's just that there was a few that were a bit over the line, especially the last corner, because I went on the green and hit Baltus, so yeah, it was yeah, it weren't great. So then, from that weekend, we gained 7,700 reputation points, which take us up to 149,500 reputation. As for the credits, we gained 12,090, which takes us up to 379,087 credits. Not a fantastic weekend on the research data, just did 2 of the objectives in free practice, and basically they were both just to complete a lap, because I did a lap, it was enough to get through, well, enough to get in the top 6, so that was time attack, and it was clean, so clean lap. So I just passed both of them by literally doing a single lap in free practice. But back in the main Career Hub, we've got no notifications, so that pretty much brings this episode to a close then. So I hope you guys did enjoy that one. An epic battle at the Sachsenring, followed by a blunderous Dutch GP, where we could have won that race probably quite convincingly by the looks of it, although, to be fair, Chantra and Canet did look pretty fast, so maybe it would have been third place, so it would only have been a couple of places better. But that crash at the start, then the comeback was good. It was just, I do feel a bit bad about some of the moves were just way over the line, especially into Strubben. The one I did on Zacconi was pretty bad, I remember. I think a couple at the chicane were a bit dodgy as well, so I'm not too proud of some of those moves, but I was just trying to make my way through the pack, so I hope you guys did enjoy it anyway. Let me know what you think. If you think I'm a really dirty rider, do let me know in the comments. But like I said, I hope you did enjoy that one. Hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. Hope you're all staying safe, and I shall see you in the next one.